Welcome back to the Quick Focus Blueprint program. I am your focus coach, Jim Quick of Quick Learning. And as always, I'm here to help you to learn quickly. And I want to congratulate you once again. You're hearing my voice right now. You committed to this program and you're getting focused. That's what you're doing. And it's not perfect focus. Nobody has perfect focus, right? There's not this place where we could just navigate through our days and just have incredible, constant, permanent peace of mind and positivity. The goal, though, is to build muscles, focus muscles, a level of resilience. We know that your focus is like a muscle and it grows stronger with use, but it's use it or lose it. So part of what we're doing is not only giving you the tactics and the strategies and the principles of higher levels of focus, but also doing exercises. So it's very important that you do the homework every single day. Now, to get to this point, we've done a lot in a very short period of time. And notice, bite-sized, daily, consistent action. So we talked about getting your focus journal. We talked about your GPA, setting up your goals, your purpose, all the action steps. We talked about a not to-do list. We talked about some of the best ways of managing your time, the Pomodoro technique. We talked about foods that you must avoid and foods that you want to add into your day so that you could have clearer sense of focus, of possibility, of concentration. And so what are we going to talk about in this session? Today, I want to talk to you about one of the biggest needle movers to your focus and your concentration, what allows you to help you to pay attention. And that's the power of movement, specifically that of exercise. And when I say this, some of you might be listening to us as like, Jim, I got this. I have it dialed in. I'm exercising, doing my CrossFit and my yoga every single day. And some people are on the other side of the spectrum. It's okay to acknowledge because we live nowadays in a very sedentary lifestyle, and that's one of the challenges. I heard someone say recently that sitting is the new smoking, that we're so sedentary, and the brain really evolved to be able to control our movement. And it's so important that we move because as your body moves, your brain grooves. So I'm going to talk about some of the science behind exercise because I do believe that when we talk about GPA, right, not your grade point average, but your goal, your purpose, and your action, a lot of people don't meet and the standard of their goal. They don't hit their vision of the dream that they're setting, their goal that they're setting, the outcome that they're setting, because they don't take the action. And usually what's missing is that P in between, is the purpose. Because adults sometimes, in order to us to be convinced, we need to know the reasons, we need to know the why. So I'm going to start with why here. And specifically, you know this, right? You know that if you wanted to beat stress, if you wanted to lift your mood, if you want to fight memory loss, if you want to sharpen your intellect functions, if you want to improve your focus, there's very few better ways of doing that than simply elevating your heart rate and breaking a sweat. Right? The evidence is so clear that exercise physically remodels your brain for better focus and peak performance. There was a study done in Oregon State University at links as little as 15 minutes, just 15 minutes of physical activity to improve concentration, memory, and classroom behavior among elementary school students. And that's really what we are, right? We're just, big kids. And so contrary to what may be expected, the improved concentration and academic performance were more pronounced among children who exercise than those who had an additional lesson. So as opposed to getting more teaching, cognitive teaching, taking a break and having them move actually boost the results. So eliminating breaks for physical activity in our school system, in order to fit in additional lessons might be counterproductive when it comes to teaching children. So we focus, we think, we learn better when we do little things like go for a walk or do other forms of exercise. And part of the reason why is because exercise enhances cognition. It has to do with blood flow, right? Whatever's good for your heart is going to be generally good for your head. Research shows that when we exercise, blood pressure and blood flow increase everywhere in the body, including your brain, right? So more blood means more energy, it means more oxygen, which means that our brain is just going to perform better. It's going to be clearer, it's going to have more energy, it's going to have better focus, right? The more you move, the more energized you're going to feel. And so regular physical activity improves not only the obvious things like muscular strength and boosts your endurance, but it gives you the energy you need to be able to think clearer. and even come up with new ideas. You could be more creative, right? A good 15 minutes of moving around. And we talked about this in a prior session about taking brain breaks, right? You work for 25 minutes, you set your alarm, it goes off, and then you get up, and what do? You move. You move your body, because as your body moves, your brain grooves. So even if it's just walking around your living room and makes your body produce more energy on a cellular level. And another explanation why it could also boost your brain performance, why literally working up a sweat enhances our mental capacity, is that our hippocampus, and we've talked about this, is the part of your brain that's critical for learning, it's critical for memory. It's highly active during exercise. It's highly active. So when the neurons in this structure, they kind of rev up and they speed up, research shows that our cognitive functions improve, right? And so I always recommend books all the time, because I think leaders are readers. That if somebody has decades of experience in marketing and medicine and relationships and computer science, whatever it is, and they put it into a book, and you could sit down in a few days or a day and you could read that book, you could download decades into days. And so the book that really is a seminal work in my eyes is by Dr. John Ratey, and he wrote a book called Spark. It's called Spark, The Revolutionary New Science of Exercise and the Brain. And it says simply that exercise improves your brain in the short term by raising your focus for 2 or 3 hours afterwards. So if you have a presentation or a speaking engagement, or you have an important meeting, you'll be more at your high performance, your peak, when you have to perform by doing some exercise before. And in the long term, it can even help stave off brain aging and Alzheimer's. So this works on a very cellular level through neuroplasticity. And we talked about neurogenesis and neuroplasticity. Neurogenesis means you could create new brain cells to the day you die. And neuroplasticity is saying your brain is like plastic. It's very, in a good way, it's very malleable. And the goal is to make those new connections with plasticity and create new brain cells is 2 things. It's novelty and nutrition. Just like you want to build your physical body, it takes novelty, right? Novelty is stimulus, it's exercise, you have to work it out. And then once you do then give it the novelty, then you also have to feed it, right? And so you have to give it the proper nutrition. And the same thing with your brain. So I encourage you to get this book if you want to go deeper in this subject. So basically what's going on also at the same time, neuroplasticity, it's your ability to improve itself with blood flow and levels of what they call brain-derived proteins. And so in Spark, John talks about, he marks on this very fantastic journey through the mind-body connection, and illustrates how exercise is truly the best defense against things like depression, to ADD, to addiction, to Alzheimer's. And it's filled with amazing case studies, such as the Revolutionary Fitness program that they did in Illinois, where they put local school district of like 19,000 kids first in the world in science and test scores just by adding certain activities there. And so Spark is really the book that you want to read to be able to explore comprehensively the connection between exercise and the brain. And so we're talking about focus, we're talking about improved memory, right? Your brain remembers more when your body is active. There was an experiment published in the American College of Sports Medicine that says students were asked to memorize a string of letters, much like we do at our events, right? I give everybody numbers and words and faces, and we meet each other and we test everybody. And so they were allowed to run and exercise, or they were allowed to sit quietly. And so the students who ran were quicker and more accurate when they were tested than the students who chose the other 2 options. So we're talking about increased focus, we're talking about increased memory, we're talking about also by exercising actually improves your productivity, right? You've heard this phrase that if you want to get something done, you give it to a busy person, right? Because busy people know how to get things done. They're always looking for shortcuts. And it's a proven fact that productivity leads to better productivity, right? Success breeds success. And when we're productive and efficient, it really propels us to achieve, and it becomes self-reinforcing. And so after exercising in the middle of a workday, workers are more likely to be kinder to coworkers, increase their level of work performance, improve their time management. All these amount to more productive day, right? We're talking about a handful of minutes of exercise. And so if you're looking to stop or stave off mental fog, if you're looking to battle like these bits of forgetfulness and senior moments coming a little bit early, exercise turns out to be an excellent way to protect and enhance your brain. right? There was a study done it was in 2013 in Harvard Men's Health Watch, and it says this: there's a lot you can do to prevent cognitive decline or slow it down or recover memory function that might have you feel lost. And this is Dr. John Ratey again, who happens to be the associate clinical professor of psychiatry at Harvard Medical School. He says one key strategy is regular, moderate, intense exercise. It helps maintain healthy blood pressure and weight, improves energy, lifts mood, lowers stress, anxiety, and keeps your heart healthy, all of which contribute to a higher performing brain, good brain health, right? But exercise also, what I was talking about before, stimulates brain regions that are involved in memory function to the release of a chemical, it's better called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factors. And BDNF requires memory circuits so they work better. So when you exercise and move around, you're using more of your brain cells. And so I highly recommend, if you want to use more of your brain cells, turn on more of your genes to be able to make more BDNF. The thing is BDNF is not available in a pill. Only your brain can make it, and only with regular exercise. That means taking time, let's say 30 minutes of moderate, intense exercise, ideally 5 days a week. So what is your homework for this? My suggestion is to make sure, if you aren't already, we know it's common sense to move every single day, that exercising once or twice a week is not going to do it. It's probably good for you, right? But it won't get you where you need to go in terms of cognitive focus benefits. And so you want to continue it as long as you want to be able to maintain that benefit, because you don't just go to the gym and work out and then you're all of a sudden fit for the rest of your life, right? You have to do it consistently. And so it's common sense, but it's not common practice. And as your coach, no matter where you are, if you're already moving, then congratulations, you're doing the right things. And if you're not, taking the time, my homework for you is to schedule it. We could talk about how we want to exercise and move or lose weight or have better focus by moving. But if we don't schedule it, it's not real. And that's going to be something I'm going to repeatedly talk about, the power of scheduling in your calendar. Because until you put it into your calendar, it's not going to happen. And you have to treat it, again, as if meeting with your spouse, with your doctor, with your significant other, with your boss, or with your investor, something you would not cancel, because this is time for you, time well spent. So the reminder here is self-love and self-care, because self-love and self-care is not selfish. And so you have to take care of this body that your brain is a part of. And as your body moves, your brain grooves. So my homework again is to schedule movement daily. And going back to prior sessions, remember to take a break every 25 to 30 minutes. And one of the things is just move. Absolutely just move, because movement is life. Think about when you have lack of movement, it's the opposite of life, right? And we want your brain and keep your brain alive. And there's certain things you could do. And we're going to talk about exercises, learning how to juggle. Jugglers have bigger brains, according to Oxford University, create more white matter, using your opposite hand, another way of putting your mind into your muscle, which improves your brain power. Another one is dancing. Dancing is incredibly good for your brain. And some people say it's even better than some of the cognitive activities that you do, like crossword puzzles. So movement is good for your mind, and make sure you schedule it every single day. It'll help your memory, it'll help your creativity, and most of all, as you know, it will help your focus. I'll talk to you tomorrow.